The megalodon, which means big tooth, is the largest shark ever to roam the Earth's seas and oceans. It reportedly lived 23 to 3.6 million years ago and was truly enormous. Its bite was more powerful than that of a T-Rex. And no wonder! Not only did the animal have super strong jaws, but its teeth also reached 7 inches in length. That's as long as a small hedgehog. Even better, the megalodon had about 300 teeth growing in at least 6 rows. The shark got rid of them as soon as they wore down. The shark itself could grow up to 59 feet. That's twice the length of a London double-decker bus. It was heavy, too. While a fully grown T-Rex weighed about 8 tons, a large megalodon's weight reached 50 to 60 tons, as much as 9 mature African elephants. With no competitors, the immense shark was a real king of the oceans. It even hunted whales.
When the megalodon was ready to give birth, it would travel to shallow waters where large predators couldn't follow. Scientists have found several of these nurseries in the Bone Valley region of Florida, the Calvert Cliffs in Maryland, and the Gaddon Formation in Panama, to name a few. And experts know these spots are nurseries because they found 1.5-inch long baby megalodon teeth there. But before your "aw, how cute" meter starts to go off, you should know that baby megalodons were about 6.5 feet long at birth. Even at that size, they still needed to be protected from other big sharks and whales. So, like modern sharks, megalodon young probably stayed in the nursery until they were big enough to stand their own ground against larger predators. The megalodon wasn't the only giant to terrorize the oceans. Leviathan mavele was a sperm whale that was over 60 feet long, weighed more than 50 tons, and its 14-inch teeth were the biggest of the animal kingdom. The megalodon and the Leviathan both lived in the Miocene epoch. They needed massive amounts of food, and since both of them had a particular taste for baleen whales, they'd fight over prey and territory. Just imagine that epic battle! The megalodon was the top predator of the ocean, until it wasn't. The giant shark went extinct 2.6 million years ago, and there are several theories as to why this happened. One of them suggests climate change is to blame. The megalodon would swim in warm waters, but climate change would have decreased the temperature of the oceans over the years until the meg could no longer survive in the cold waters. Another theory claims that it was increased competition from large predators that left this massive shark without any food. A 2017 study published in the Journal of Paleogeography, Paleoclimatology, and Paleoecology claims that the megalodon met its end when its prey went extinct. This study theorizes that, with a disappearance of prey, the predator that feasts on it would go extinct as well. Since small baleen whales went extinct, it's likely that the megalodon soon followed.
Cretoxurina is also known as the Ginsu shark. This creature roamed the seas and oceans 100 million years ago in the Cretaceous period. Despite this fact, they look pretty similar to modern sharks. These predators reached a weight of 1,000 to 2,000 pounds and could grow as long as 25 feet. They had incredibly sharp teeth, not unlike knives. Therefore, their diet included not only fish and smaller marine animals, but also a random dinosaur, for example, a Tylosaurus. This massive shark reigned over the oceans 60 to 45 million years ago. Octopus could grow up to 30 feet in length and weigh more than 4,000 pounds. That's the weight of the average new car in the US. This predator could also boast razor-sharp 4-inch long teeth. With the help of these daggers, Octopus feasted on big fish and whales. Helicoprion was not only one of the biggest, but also one of the most uncommon prehistoric sharks. It lived about 290 million years ago. These sharks got their name Helicoprion from the Greek for spiral saw, thanks to the highly unusual coils of teeth lining their jaws. Those coils tended to unfurl like a table saw, crushing their prey. Try to get this image out of your head now. Tychodus, which means folded teeth in Greek, lived 90 to 60 million years ago. This was a massive shark that could reach 30 feet in length with a weight that varied between 1 and 2,000 pounds. This shark was different from other prehistoric sharks because it had large teeth, which, however, were flat. Due to this fact, Tychodus was a bottom feeder with a diet of shellfish and mollusks.
The frilled shark looks like an overgrown eel and has gills lined with red fringe at the edges, hence the name. The creature's horrifying mouth is lined up with 25 rows of razor-sharp, backward-facing teeth, 300 in total. The shark hovers in the water, waiting to charge at its prey like a snake. The deep-sea hatchetfish has a ridiculously skinny body and large tubular eyes pointing upward. The fish might look fragile, even the largest specimens reach only 6 inches in length, but it can live at a depth of 5,000 feet. The hatchetfish can also regulate its glow, depending on the amount of light around. With its protruding, flattened snout and pink-colored skin, the goblin shark looks like a visitor from another planet. The creature's terrifying jaws are attached to elastic ligaments. When prey comes too close, the shark catapults its mouth forward to catch it. If your mouth could do the same, you'd be able to eat things dangling 7 inches away from your face. The Mariana snailfish is the deepest fish ever discovered. Pink, blind, and so see-through you can spot its liver. The creature thrives at 26,000 feet below the surface. Scientists believe the animal's flexible bones help it withstand the mind-boggling pressure. They can only guess, though. Not a single specimen has been caught yet. One of the Mariana Trench's inhabitants glows brightly like an electric bulb. That's the deep-sea dragonfish. It looks like an upgraded eel, equipped with oversized teeth. Chemical processes inside the fish's body produce an eerie red glow. This glow is then used to communicate with other fish. The creature is about 6 inches long and can live at an impressive depth of 6,000 feet, where the waters are cold and lightless. The ping-pong tree sponge may look like a beautiful ethereal lamp, but its disappearance is deceptive. This creature, with a funny name, is a dangerous carnivorous sponge living at the depths of nearly 9,000 feet. The soft-looking balls are covered in minuscule hook-shaped spikes. Can we say Velcro? They trap careless sea inhabitants and consume them, which looks as if the prey simply melts away on the translucent globes. Ew! Even though zombie worms grow to be 2 inches at the most, they can break down the most massive creatures, so strong the acid they produce is. Their feathery appearance makes the worms look like a plant, but the truth is these creatures munch on rock-hard bones of the world's largest animals, such as whales. A tiny bizarre jellyfish lives in the Mariana Trench at a depth of more than 2,500 feet. It's around 1 inch in diameter and has about 1,500 tiny wispy tentacles. Unlike many jellyfish, which are transparent, this one has a reddish bell, most likely to mask the glow of the microscopic animals the jellyfish munches on. Dwarf lantern shark. The smallest shark in the world could fit in your hand. It has light-emitting organs called photophores, not for navigation, but camouflage with sunlight coming in from above. Blue-ringed octopus. Might be small, but this thing is no joke. One of the only venomous octopus species, an antidote to its sting still hasn't been found. Sarcastic fringehead, not my college roommate. Small, aggressive fish can open its huge mouth like wings. There was one case when this monster even tried to swallow an entire octopus. Oh, the sarcastic in its name means to tear apart. Red lionfish. Despite its harmless appearance, this fish is a dangerous monster. It can swallow other fish 2/3 its body size. Called lionfish because of its mane of venomous spikes. Striped surgeonfish. This one's name comes from scalpel-sharp spikes near its tail fin that the fish uses for self-defense. Spikes not only cut deep, they're also venomous. Black dragonfish. The only creature known to have chlorophyll, the stuff that makes plants green, in its eyes. Also, the only creature known to produce infrared light. Gives advantage in hunting since most animals can't see in infrared. Reef stonefish. Sharp needles on its back that can easily pierce through the bottom of a shoe. Ow! Even worse, this fish looks like an ordinary rock, so it's easy to step on it. Worse, it's the most venomous fish in the world. Viperfish. Known for having the largest teeth relative to their heads. Have evolved over time to become blacker in color, so prey can't see them in the deep ocean, until it's too late. Lamprey. Scary-looking jawless fish stick to their prey with suction cup-like mouth. Oh, and it's full of rows and rows of teeth. Mega piranha. Longer than your arm and heavier than a bowling ball. Its real power was in its bite. its jaws locked down with a force 50 times the fish's weight. That'd be like a person having the bite force of a T-Rex.
Now, this crab looks like something you'd see in a video game or some sci-fi alien movie. My goodness, just look at it! The giant spider crab lives in the waters near Japan. Their legs reach about 11.5 feet from claw to claw, and the body can be around 14.5 inches in diameter. It spends most of its time looking for animal remains, mollusks, and shellfish to feed on. But don't be fooled thinking this crab looks a little twiggy and weak. Its massive size alone keeps most predators away. When one does decide to attack it though, the crab's hard exoskeleton provides it with excellent protection. The design on its back also helps it blend into the environment and disappear if it needs to. That's why the giant spider crab can live up to an impressive 100 years when left alone. Unfortunately, that's not the case since the species is targeted by the fishing industry and sold as a delicacy in Japan. The great white gets its name from its distinct white belly under its gray body. As for the great part, that's simply because some of them can grow over 20 feet long. As for your average great white shark, it's usually about 15 feet in length, making it the largest predatory fish in the world. As predators, they love to feed on sea lions, seals, and small whales. Thanks to its strong tail and torpedo-shaped body, the great white can swim at speeds up to 15 miles per hour when in pursuit of its prey. Yeah, that means we humans have no chance of escape if we find ourselves in its crosshairs. Actually, great whites are responsible for up to half of the yearly shark attack incidents reported worldwide. They have a highly evolved sense of smell and can sniff one tiny drop of blood in 25 gallons of water. So if you're bleeding, even the tiniest bit, it's probably a good idea to avoid going into the ocean. Don't let the name fool you. It's a shark, not a whale. These huge fish are covered in white spots that have a unique design for each individual shark. Quite pretty, don't you think? The whale shark ranges in size from 18 to 32.8 feet and can weigh about 20.6 tons. That's 2 times heavier than a cruise ship anchor. You'd imagine that the largest fish in the sea would devour any and everything in its path, but they actually just prefer to eat plankton. Whale sharks swim with their mouths wide open, which might look kind of funny to you or me, but it's actually a great way of catching fish, plants, and other small marine life forms. All it has to do is swim around, and its mouth will do all the work for it. Similar to baleen whales, the whale shark has a filter feeder system where the filter pads work to separate food from water.
Perhaps the most impossible creature in the world is a jellyfish. It doesn't have any sensory organs we're used to, like eyes, ears, and a nose. It has no skeleton, but most importantly, it hasn't gotten a brain or heart. Its body is almost entirely made of water. That's why, if you take a jellyfish out of the sea and put it on the shore, it will soon melt. At the same time, there's a species of jellyfish that can live forever in a safe environment. It just might be that jellyfish have given up their hearts and brains for the sake of other sea creatures, because octopuses, for example, can have multiple of those. The giant Pacific octopus, in particular, has 9 brains and 3 hearts. 8 smaller brains allow each of the animal's arms to move independently, while being coordinated by the bigger central one. And the hearts pump the octopus's blood, which is blue, by the way, to its gills and the rest of the body. Still, the champion in terms of heart numbers is a hagfish. It has 4 of those. These unsavory, lamprey-like sea creatures use one of their hearts as a main pump, having the rest of them assist it. Hagfish also emit slime that can fill a water bottle in just a few seconds, and sneezes when this slime gets into its nose. Great white sharks can move at a speed of up to 25 miles per hour. The secret is in their denticles, small flat V-shaped scales. These scales significantly lessen drag force and turbulence. Olympic swimsuit designers did their best to duplicate the shark's denticles, creating a fabric that makes swimmers sleeker and faster in the water. The shark's fin also became a huge inspiration for inventing new technology for clean energy. One Australian company made a device that captures tidal energy from the ocean and converts it into electric power with minimal environmental impact. A 2018 Harvard University study suggests that these unique denticles on shark skin can also help to create more efficient planes and cars. The team of engineers found out that they increase lift. Lift is the force that pulls a plane up when the pressure of the air on top of the wing is less than the pressure of the air under the bottom of the wing. So, by incorporating 3D printed images of the denticles on the wings, engineers hope to make them more aerodynamic. They can also be used for vortex generators, a small vane attached to the top of the rear windshield of a car, which increases the downforce of a vehicle. As you already know, the shark population is declining. This means that there are much more turtles, crabs, and stingrays, and their favorite food is seagrass. But seagrass is a vital part of the blue carbon ecosystem, which captures and stores carbon 40 times more efficiently than tropical rainforests. That's why, without sharks, the marine creatures keep eating the seagrass, disrupting the blue carbon ecosystems, and releasing ancient carbon. This has the same effect as the greenhouse gas emissions from cars that destroy the ozone layer, leading to unpredictable and harmful climate change. There's a stereotype that sharks purposefully hunt humans. But most shark attacks happen because these predators mistake swimmers for their usual prey, like seals or sea lions. The other reason why a shark might attack is its curious nature. This predator tends to bite things to figure out if they'll make a suitable meal, just like humans do at a buffet. There's an opinion that once a shark stops swimming, its life will be over. However, this idea is only partially true. First of all, it's important to understand how sharks breathe. In fact, they can do it in two ways: buccal pumping and ram ventilation. While using the first method, sharks pull the water into their mouth with the help of their cheek muscles and then expel it through their gills. And this method allows predators to lie on the seafloor without movement. But if the sharks use ram ventilation, they have to keep moving so that the water moves over their gills. That's why most people believe that without constant swimming, sharks won't get the oxygen necessary for life. But the catch is that only 20 or so shark species out of more than 400 use ram ventilation alone. And it's actually true that a few shark species won't be able to breathe if something prevents them from moving. But the rest of the predators use either both breathing methods or the buccal pumping method and can easily rest on the seafloor. Now, have you ever heard of sharks jumping out of the water and knocking someone off of a boat? If you believe this myth, you've probably watched too many thriller movies. Some shark species, such as the great white shark, are indeed capable of leaping more than 8 feet into the air to catch prey, for example, seals and birds. But unless you're in South Africa, you'll have a hard time trying to find sharks jumping out of the water. It's been said, if a shark is heading towards you, hide among the jellyfish. Well, if you want to waste your time and hurt yourself, go ahead. But the truth is that sharks have a really thick skin, and jellyfish stings will feel like nothing more than a tickle. Admittedly, these predators have quite vulnerable eyes, but sharks can protect them by covering them with special membranes. You, on the other hand, will fall victim to extremely painful and often venomous jellyfish stings. So don't be like Dory. Oops, that was a spoiler, sorry. It's another common misconception that all sharks are predators. For instance, the ginormous and thus terrifying whale shark is, in fact, a friendly giant, which has to filter plankton through its modified gills to feed itself. And the bottom-dwelling nurse shark is a suction feeder, whose diet includes mostly sea urchins, lobsters, and small stingrays. It's not a good idea to make the assumption that if a shark hasn't attacked anyone, there must be no sharks in this area. Sharks live in all the world's oceans, both in coastal waters and the deep sea. What's more, some sharks can even be found in lakes and rivers with fresh water. So, if you don't see a shark, it might mean that it's just not interested.